nobody really knows what it is. Even those individuals that are turning 65, and once it's their turn to go in it, even they're like,
they're
what's
lost.
first? It's just a vulnerable community that are oftentimes targeted for many times scam.
From 62 to 65, they're getting bombarded every single day. There's people showing up at their door, mailers, phone calls, like it's a little bit of everything. I know it's overwhelming, and that's why I like doing Medicare a lot, is because we're able to kind of be transparent and open and actually be helpful to the community.
Hey guys, welcome back to our Averity Insurance podcast. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
We were gone for a while.
Quite some time.
Quite some time.
We for those of you that don't know, of course, that we got married, and then now we went on our honeymoon as of recently, and we just got back, and we're excited to be back. We're excited to be back and getting to pick back up on the podcast. So and today's topic, so what we're going to be going over in this episode, is going to be going over Medicare and the changes that are coming this year for 2026.
Medicare as a whole, because there's been a lot of changes over the years, and I feel like Medicare is a topic that not a lot of our population really know about. It's very in the gray area. Everybody knows that it's like a program for older people, but nobody really knows what it is, and even those individuals that are turning 65, and once it's their turn to go in it, even they're like,
they're lost.
First?
They're lost. I mean, I just had a client this week that he's turning 65 and he doesn't even know where to begin.
None of them do.
Like, where do I have to go to? Do I have to go to Social Security? Do I have to go to Medicare? Like, what exactly do I have to do? And then not to mention that there's a bunch of people calling them. Every single day.
They get spam calls 10 times a day.
And what we didn't know that when we first started Medicare is that apparently most of these companies, they start doing propaganda to these clients as early as 62. As early as 62. So imagine, from 62 to 65, they're getting calls.
They're getting bombarded.
They're getting bombarded every single day. There's people showing up at their door. Mailers, phone calls. It's a little bit of everything. So I know it's overwhelming, and that's why I like doing Medicare a lot, is because we're able to kind of be transparent and open and actually be helpful to the community, especially here in Miami.
I think the senior community is a very vulnerable community, and you're talking about people that aren't really tech savvy, most of them don't really know how to do applications on the internet, and it's just a vulnerable community that are oftentimes targeted for many times scam. We've seen clients get scammed into switching plans that unfortunately don't cover their doctors, their medication. This ultimately hinders their health, which is a pretty big deal, and it's honestly really sad, but it's also a opportunity for people like us that are agents or new people that want to get into the business. Medicare is a very untapped market, especially if you are bilingual, if you speak any other language other than English, Haitian, Spanish, Creole, Spanish.
If it's difficult for the English speakers, imagine all the other people that only speak that language.
Exactly.
So yeah, definitely when it comes to you being an agent and being bilingual, you definitely have the advantage, and no matter where you are in the country, it doesn't matter. Like, it could be in Florida, it could be in Texas, it could be anywhere. You definitely always have the advantage of being a bilingual person in this industry, because you speak 2 languages, 3 languages, 4 languages, whatever.
Your reach is so much further.
It's so much further than just limited to one language.
100%.
So this leads into our topic. Medicare 2026, all the changes that have been coming up. As number one, the price for Medicare Part B alone has gone up. Before it was 185, I think, last year, and now this year is going to be 206.
Medicare is not free, by the way. A lot of people think I turned 65, I get free insurance. Not at all. No. Quite the contrary. They have to pay per month. A lot of the times it's taken out of their retirement check. So a lot of the times maybe some people don't feel it. They don't think about it, maybe because they don't see it. But Social Security will straight up just take it out of their check. And every year, as years go by, it goes getting more expensive. We've been doing Medicare for 4 or 5 years now, and it's steadily gone up from 164, 174, 184. This year it had the biggest jump.
The biggest jump of $20.
Yeah, it went from 184 to 206, 205.
206.
Around there, and that's also based on income, but again, it's not free, and it's a pretty hefty amount for seniors that are living check to check.
You're talking about people that have worked their entire life, 40 quarters, and are getting a retirement of $2,000. $2,500 if you're lucky. And then $200 coming less. Remember, they're on fixed income. So they're not making any more. Majority of them, you'll see some sad stories that people are getting a retirement check of only $800.
Yeah.
I've seen it. I've had to live it, and I've had to help people apply for extra help and stuff like that, so that way they're able to meet their needs.
At least get by.
At least get by.
Yeah.
And it's sad. It's sad when it's so much money coming out of their social, and you see some of these people 70, 75 years old getting a part-time at a supermarket.
Because they have to.
Because they have to.
There's no other choice.
Like it's really like it's really messed up as far as like when you're an agent and you're trying to help them out, trying to guide them in the right direction. And
I saw a video on Instagram not that long ago about they were showing this 98-year-old woman working at a supermarket.
I saw it.
And
I think you showed me that one.
I commented on it, and I was like, this is the sad reality. And as a Medicare agent, we see this all the time. And unfortunately, these are people that put their trust in the government when they were 20 or 30 years old and said, oh, I have a Social Security.
When I retire, I'm going to be good.
I'm going to be good. And then they hit 65 and they're like, damn, that's all my check is?
Yeah.
That's all? And, this one girl in the comments was like, they should have been on top of their thing. But, I get it. I get both sides. But as a you can only think about what they were thinking at that time. You know, we're talking about 40 years ago when these accounts were established. There was no internet. There were no online accounts. They had no way to check it. And maybe once it was available, they probably didn't even know how to get on.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And then that leads me into the next topic of how Medicare as a whole, the program, is literally running out of money. So when Medicare was established 60, 50 years ago, people at that time were retiring at 65 and probably passing away at 75. Maybe if they were lucky.
So you're talking about a 10-year lifespan after they retire. So
right. So Medicare was only able to. Medicare was designed to maybe only cover
a certain
10
amount of years
of medical bills.
No, you're not talking about nowadays that people are living to 95,
literally.
100.
With medication, with advancement of technology, people are living past 100.
Exactly.
So now Medicare is having to pick up the cost sharing of all those medical bills, medication, expensive treatments, and all that stuff. From the moment that they're 65 all the way to literally near 100, you're talking about an extra 30 years that I don't think the program is capable of, sustaining that much debt.
I mean, and anyone can go on Google and search this, but look at the U.S. debt clock.
This is very scary. Those of you that didn't know, there is an actual debt clock online that shows you the actual current debt of the United States.
And then you see literally just Medicare, Social Security, Medicaid.
You see how much the government is using on war.
Just going up every
Medicaid.
Single day, every single second, every millisecond is literally just going up. So if you ever go into that page, you're going to be overwhelmed because there's a bunch of numbers everywhere. But it's incredible how how much debt has the U.S. accumulated in just I don't know how many years. Medical bills. Literally. Just Medicare.
Just sustaining. And that's both, actually. Sustaining Medicaid, which is the government health insurance for low-income individuals. So the amount of money the government goes into waste on Medicaid and Medicare is just astronomical. And not to mention all of the fraud that gets done. That's just a whole other story, which we have another episode on that. But the program was not designed to sustain that much loss. So for that reason, now these companies have started coming out with these advantage plans. Which how that works is, let's say I'm a consumer, I'm a person that just turned 65, I pay my Medicare, Medicare pays my plan of choice, which is my advantage plan, and then that plan of choice is a private insurance company that then they're in charge of giving me my benefits.
Right,
so it's like a triangle
the medical,
type of thing.
the dental division, so you get these extra benefits for enrolling into their plan.
Exactly, and that's kind of Medicare taking care of themselves to kind of offshore some of that risk.
Right. Because before, a lot of people used to do it was getting their Medicare and then doing a supplement. But that becomes so cost inefficient.
Yeah.
So much money a month. You're talking about people that are living on $2,000 a month, let alone they're gonna pay their Medicare Part B, 206 plus a Medigap, which is could be $300, $500 if you want a good one.
Then they gotta add dental vision.
It's all this extra stuff.
It's like a Medicare a la carte.
Right. And it's incredible because you're talking about people that live on fixed income. So that's why Medicare Advantage, you're giving up the fact that you're able to go to whatever doctor that accepts Medicare at whatever time, but in exchange for being covered by that insurance company and not having to pay so much out of pocket.
Right.
You're exchanging
your freedom for a private insurer who's now going to take control of all of the risk that now your medical bills bring. And honestly, I think the future of Medicare is not very bright. I think at some point they're going to completely shift, either completely to Medicare Advantage, which is again offshoring to the private companies, or they're just gonna have to do away with the program in itself because it's not sustainable.
Yeah. I mean, it all depends. I think what you said is true. You know, if you're gonna go, if you're talking about a government program, they're not gonna just completely get rid of it either,
right?
Because there's still people that are turning 65 every single day,
right?
And
they might tweak it, rename
there has to be
it.
some solution, you know, and
Right.
the same thing as marketplace. You know, there always has to be a solution because you're not going to leave millions of people without insurance.
Yeah.
Because then your debt is just going to go through
even
the
more,
roof.
even more.
You know.
I agree.
But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, we can only hope that everything gets better. I think what you said is true. You know,
Yeah.
insurance companies, they think they could take on the load a little bit more, especially if they're getting paid so much for each person that's enrolled into their plans.
Right.
You know, and that leads us also like to our next topic as well, like how important it is to review your benefits every single year.
Absolutely.
Because just because you had a really good insurance plan this year doesn't mean that next year is going to be the same. As far as for Medicare Advantage, Medicare Advantage, the plans change every single year.
Yeah.
Your drug formulary changes every single year.
Your medication coverage,
everything changes. So just because you had a good plan last year doesn't mean you're going to have a good plan next year.
Yeah.
So whether you work with us or whether you work with another agent, you always want to make sure that you're reviewing your options for the following year and see which one the better option.
Right.
Remember that most of these insurance companies negotiate their contract with their doctors, with their hospitals, to stay in network for the following year.
Yeah, doctors have to get contracted with said insurance companies. They just can't accept every insurance company because they won't get paid.
Right.
So in order for doctors to make money, they have to have these contracts with these private insurers. They have to be in network. So with that being said, every year at the end of the year, most insurance companies, if not all, will send you an annual notice of change, which every individual should be reading, see what's going to be changing in the new year with their plan. And then again, you just got to be on top of it because next thing you know, come January, your medication's not covered, your doctor's not covered, and you're in for quite a surprise.
Right, exactly.
So it's a very big deal, and yeah, I just think there's a lot of changes with Medicare that are coming. So these companies are, I like to look at them like entities that are constantly in competition with one another.
Yeah.
They're constantly in competition. So we can attest from one company 2 years ago that was giving all these benefits, giving money back, covering the most dental, doing this, that, and the third. Everybody wanted that plan. What happened? They grew exponentially. They took so much of a hit that this year, or last year rather, they had to pull back.
Mm-hmm.
So they had to pull back.
Not to mention also on the broker side, as an independent agent side, you're making plans non-commissionable.
Right.
Meaning that you can sell this plan, but you're not going to get paid.
Right.
So
which then again deters agents from wanting to even offer that plan. Like, no, that plan is not the best because now you're working for free. You know. So it's plans that companies that they want to offer so much more. They want to make their plan more favorable. They want to offer the most help per se because they know that these seniors again are living paycheck to paycheck, and they will switch.
Yeah.
You know, even your dad is a number one
Medicare client. That's my number one
that
client.
will literally call and be like, "Hey, which company is giving me back more?"
He literally called me like right before the year ended, and he was just like, "Which plan's giving me the most? Okay, this plan's giving you this much. All right, put me on that one." I'm like, "Dad, are you sure your doctors aren't covered?" "No, just put me in it."
Yeah, they will switch just because which company is giving me back more money. Because a lot of the companies they give back money. Like I said, they're in competition. So, you know, 1 year this company may be
especially when you have extra help like Medicare.
Right.
Yeah.
This company may be giving back $300 a month. Well, this company is giving back $310. So I'm gonna go to that one. You know, even if it's a $10 difference, but they will switch because every dollar counts.
Right.
When you're talking about someone that is a senior that lives on fixed income, especially with the way that the housing market is here in Miami or South Florida.
Yeah.
You're talking about rent that is minimum $2,000 a month, even for a small 1 bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
And these are people.
And if you're a homeowner with a homeowner's insurance, how many times have we quoted someone? Because I don't know if you guys know this, but we also do homeowners as well.
Yeah.
A homeowner's insurance somewhere up in the Broward area.
Yeah.
$10,000-$15,000
a year, which is $1,000 a month.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Not a lot of
just
people
in
can afford that.
We're not talking
if the person has a mortgage, if the person has what's it called?
private mortgage insurance,
a cash out refinance or something like that, they still have money to pay. And then
Yeah.
on top of that,
The
another
taxes.
$1,000, the taxes, like it all adds up.
Yeah.
It all adds up, and some of these people can live off of that.
Right. I mean, think about it. So the median income before, you know, slowly as the years go by, it's been going up. But before, the median income for the average homeowner in America was 50 grand, 60 grand, 70 grand. All of those people have roughly the same Social Security income. All of those people that are now retiring,
Mhm.
their Social Security income is 2,000, 2,500. So you're talking about someone that makes 2,500, that all of a sudden their mortgage and bills and homeowners and all that stuff goes up to 3 grand. They're negative every month. They're literally
They're
negative.
losing money.
They're negative. And unfortunately, the threshold for extra help is under 1,400 a month. So you literally have to be borderline homeless or borderline in poverty to be able to qualify for extra help. You can't even afford
Not to
rent.
mention that they want to know your gross pay,
Yeah.
meaning how much is it without your Medicare Part B
Yeah.
premium. Like if you're applying for Medicaid, that extra help, and if you're just $20 over, you don't qualify.
You're denied.
You're denied.
Yeah.
Which had happened. Like I know, I think I mentioned a few episodes already that my grandpa, before he passed away, $20 increase on his SSI, and then they removed his
extra help.
Medicaid.
So he went negative. So they increased it by 20
He
bucks.
lost his food card. He has more copays now, and yeah, just he had to pay his Part B now.
Yeah.
You know, it all added up. Added up. So.
Yeah, and I know a lot of this might be, you know, insurance lingo. It might sound confusing, but I encourage you guys to just get involved, get informed, because we all know someone who is nearing their 60s. We all know someone. It could be your aunt, it could be your grandma, it could be your mom, it could be your brother, your sister, your dad. You know, someone eventually is going to turn in their 65, and believe me when I tell you, they're not going to know the first thing what to do. And
unless they were an insurance agent before.
Right. And it is entirely up to us to help them, which is why I think it's such an untapped market, and we're constantly looking for new agents, especially those agents that want to tap into Medicare, because it's so untapped, and it's a line of insurance that you are genuinely helping people.
Right, you're helping them.
You're genuinely helping them. It's not like, hey, let me just try to find you a cheaper auto quote. No. Right. This is like, hey, let me sit down with you. Let me educate you. Let me teach you. Let me simplify
how this insurance works, how you can use it, how
let
you can
me help
benefit.
you make the most educated decision.
Mm-hmm.
Because as a broker, we get paid the same across the board. By law, it's regulated. All the companies have to pay us the same.
Mm-hmm.
So there's not really any biasness about whether I think I want the client to choose this plan or I want them to choose that plan. Other than, like you mentioned before, some of the plans, very few, it's like 1 or 2, that become non-commissionable. But most of them all pay us the same. Right. So again, there's no biasness. So we always want to just steer them in the right direction. So it's like you don't have to go back and work twice. We want them to make the right decision the first time. Mm-hmm. So because if they end up changing, you end up hurting yourself. So you want to do a good job the first time. So again, it's just an untapped market. We really want to expand into the Medicare field. We want new Medicare agents, people that genuinely just want to help the seniors, want to help the elderly community, like to educate, like to help. If that's you,
that's what we're looking for.
We're looking for you.
We're looking for you.
So, yeah.
And, you know, our numbers are always on I think on all of the YouTube videos. If anything, you can always Google us on the Verity Insurance on Google. But our phone numbers are always available. You can always schedule a call. We'll look over, you know, what are the best needs for you as an agent, and, you know, structure a game plan in order for you to actually win. You know, what I always tell our agents is like, hey, I don't care what you sell, but I want you to make money in this industry.
For sure. And there's a lot of money to be made, for sure.
There's a lot.
And
whatever way you decide.
And if you're an individual who's nearing Medicare or already in Medicare, and you want to set up a call, by all means. A lot of the information that we went over is more relative to South Florida, but we are active in over 35 states. We are licensed to sell both med subs, both Medicare Advantage plans, prescription plans, whatever it is that you want to look into. But again, this message, we really wanted to put it out there for everyone, for people that are, you know, under 65 and over 65, to kind of educate the community. Mm-hmm. There's a very big lapse in knowledge, I think, when it comes to Medicare. Yeah. And like the craziest part is that when a person is about to be 65, Medicare sends them a textbook like this thick. And it's
I was
like,
just saying,
here's your
do we
Medicare
have a book
guide.
here somewhere that I can
Yeah,
show you? But
no, we don't have one, but it is literally a thick textbook like this
and
big.
it's a bunch of insurance
Oh
jargon,
man,
like
it's
they don't
so
understand it.
confusing.
I've gone to appointments and they just whip it out and I'm just
Yeah.
like,
They're like, oh,
I don't
bam.
even know. I don't even know what I'm looking at.
It's like
here.
the size of a dictionary. They're just like,
Yeah.
here,
It's called,
bam.
it's called Medicare and Me, right? Or Medicare
Something
and
like
You
that.
guidebook or something like that.
Something like that.
And it's got like thousands of pages of different plans that are available. Some are not even in the person's county and they're still showing it there.
Yeah.
You know, it's incredible.
It's unnecessary and they make it more complicated than it actually really is. As a matter of fact, I don't know how many agents that we've spoken to that are scared to do Medicare because they're like, no, it's complicated.
Yeah. I mean, we've had agents that they're like, oh, I don't know how I feel about doing Medicare, and then once they do their first Medicare, because we sit down with them, them, we do the appointment with them, you know, all that stuff, and then they're like,
it's not that bad.
Not that bad.
Yeah,
not that bad. Of course, anything that you're not used to is gonna be scary at first.
for sure.
We were scared at first when we did Medicare and when we did ACA, when we did supplement. But everything becomes easier with more repetition.
With repetition, exactly. So if you want to get in touch with us, you can always send us a DM, reach out, go to our website, fill out the form. Somebody will be in touch with you. And that's what we're here for. We really wanted to educate the community and get that information out there.
Yeah, so thank you guys for tuning into this episode, and we'll see you in the next one.
We'll see you.